After this video, students will be able to evaluate square roots of small perfect squares, use square root symbols to represent solutions to the equation of the form x squared equals p. P is just any positive rational number. So what we are going to do is we have this chart, and we have to finish filling in the chart. And I have finished it on the video already, but you do need to finish it on your sheet at this point now. The first two rows are done for you already, and we're going to do the third one. So I give you the numbers 1 through 10, and then a perfect square just means you take 1 and square it, which is just 1 times 1, which equals 1. And then 2 squared is 2 times 2, which equals 4. And I continued that all the way down. So 3 squared equals 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared equals 36, 7 squared equals 49, 8 squared equals 64, 9 squared equals 81, 10 squared equals 100. And when I square a variable, it's just the variable times itself, and we call it something like an x squared. Square roots are called the inverse operation of squared values. So the square root of 1, you're really taking the square root of 1 squared, which is equal to 1. The square root of 4 is equal to the square root of 2 squared, which is just 2. The square root of 9, and this is where you have to fill in, is equal to the square root of 3 squared, which equals 3. The square root of 16 is the square root of 4 squared, which equals 4. The square root of 25 is the square root of 5 squared, which equals 5. And you can follow the pattern all the way down on what I did there. If necessary, you can pause the video if I'm going too quickly. But the square root of x squared is just x. Being able to evaluate square roots is a skill needed in order to calculate the area of squares. We know from previous years that the area of a rectangle is A for area equals length times width, L times W. In a square, the length and the width are equal. Therefore, we could rewrite the formula instead of A equals LW. We could rewrite it as A equals L times L or W times W. A lot of times we'll see it as side squared or little s squared. Okay, let me just draw you a picture off to the side here. So in a rectangle, you have a length and a width. And we know that the area is LW. But in a square, the length and the width are equal. So we call them s's. So area is still length times width, but they're equal to each other, so that's why we called it s times s, or s squared. I don't expect you to be able to come up with the formula, but I do expect you to be able to use it, like in the questions below. Given that the area of the squares below, which are in the center of our squares, 1, 4, and 9, find the lengths of the sides of the square using the area of a square formula. So we know the area of our first square is a 1. And since it's a square, the sides are equal. So I'm going to call them s and s just to get used to the formula. First, I'll start by rewriting the formula. A equals s squared. Now I'm going to plug in what I know. The area is a 1. So 1 equals s squared. To solve for s, you take the square root. That way you can get rid of the squared. The square root of 1, if you don't know it, you have it in your chart above. You can use your calculator. Just type square root of 1. And you get 1 equals s. So the lengths of the sides are 1. We're going to repeat it on the second one here. Our formula is A equals s squared. Plug in what you know. You know the area is 4. Take the square root to solve for s. Either look in the chart above, type it in your calculator, or maybe you just know it. The square root of 4 is 2. I'm going to have you guys try the last one. I will check tomorrow that the full sheet is completed.